What's up, everybody? It's me.
And I'm you.
And this is
Two Guys, Same Person.
What's going on, buddy?
Hey,
How have I been?
You've been great. Working on a lot of projects at home. Got some new music about to drop.
Nice.
Working on an extra special secret project for the channel. Coming up with topics, doing research. It's been kind of a busy time.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it really has been. You and I have been kind of circling each other around in this brain of ours, and
Yes.
we felt a little stuck, and I thought that it might be a good way to connect with some audience members that also might feel presently or have in their lives or may end up feeling kind of stuck in their own heads about a particular issue, thought process, whatever it is that's going on.
Yeah.
You can get stuck and you can obsess over these compounding maybe complaints, maybe problems, maybe just thoughts that are going on, and getting yourself out of that can be kind of a chore.
Yeah.
It truly can be. And I like that you used the word chore because this side, over here on this side of the brain, is the brain that your wife has a problem with, where instead of, just sitting and listening and, okay, I feel you, where I start, okay, here's the solution to the problem. When you say chore, I immediately think of trying to make something easier. Doing dishes is a chore, but it was revolutionized by the automatic dishwasher. Doing laundry is a chore. Now that we've got washers and dryers, it's made it easier for better or for worse.
Yeah.
I'm literally talking about the physical aspect of having to do something, whether you like it or not. Yeah, absolutely. I totally understand what you're saying. And that's kind of where I was going to. Having to figure something out in your brain, it's a different chore than having to do the dishes, but it's something that you should probably get done because it's standing in your way of a goal.
Yeah.
Well, compare it to dishes again. Dishes, you want a clean countertop, you want a clean kitchen.
Yep.
You got a bunch of dirty dishes. The chore is getting them clean. Now, how do we do that in an efficient way, in a quick way, using the tools that are around us? And some people might not have access to some tools. Some people might enjoy doing things a certain specific way, or if you're like us, you might not kind of know what tools are available to you. You might have a dishwasher, but you don't necessarily know what detergent you might need to use or what settings might be best or where this product even comes from. Heaven forbid it breaks down and you don't have a plumber ready to go. What are you going to do about it? What are the tools to kind of get you through that scenario? And I think we've come up with some good ones for the scenario where you're kind of stuck in your own head. So there's a couple of different things that can get you stuck in your own head. So we've come up with a list of things that have happened to us. We can't cover everything, but hopefully, you'll be able to extrapolate the message from what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
So one of the things that has recently been bothering not just us, but a lot of people recently is peer-reviewed research in topics of conversation.
Yes.
When we're talking about things that can be researched. The climate is a big one. Scientific achievements, where specific ideas come from. What tools can there be when you don't feel educated on a project or a product or a theory or whatever it might be? Where can you find better research than, just Googling a question? Right. Well, okay, first off, I will say that if you Google how to cut a lemon, you're going to get the right way to cut a lemon. It's going to be fine. But there are specific search engines built specifically for peer-reviewed journals and research papers where, you're getting the really difficult stuff to read that proves or advances specific theories. I'll put all the links down in the description because I don't want to sit here and spell everything phonetically, but bioline.org.br was one of the most prominent search engines that I saw for peer-reviewed journals where you go and you research a specific topic and it'll pop up whatever it is that's available that has, some scientific weight to it, that it's not just, truthaboutthis.com where it's, no, these are scientists and studiers, and they got together, and somebody else in the same field was like, hey, let me check out your work. Oh, that looks great. Here's the journal, whatever it is. Another one, Citeseerx.ist.psu.edu. That's a long one, but Citeseer is something that is really good for citing sources and figuring out where this stuff is coming from. And then two big names everybody's going to be familiar with, Microsoft and Google. You've got scholar.google.com and academic.research.microsoft.com. Again, you're probably not going to want to go to these places to learn how to dice up your tomatoes, but if you want to know about, really, truly, not just CNN or Fox News or anybody's opinion about climate change, when you want to see what people who don't care about opinion are writing down and talking about it, these are the examples of a few places that you can go to find this actual tangible information.
Okay.
So that's excellent to know, and is probably going to be really helpful, not only just for, college kids out there, but for people who really want to get educated and potentially involved in whatever it is going on. But I want to go to the next kind of portion here after, this tangible research. I want to talk about opinions, because a lot of people, especially on social media, on the internet, listening to podcasts, creating podcasts, are sharing a lot of opinions.
Really quick, hold on.
So opinions aren't something that you can really research, that you can't really make a tangible thing. You just got to kind of make people aware of it. But what I think we want to cover here is maybe challenging your own opinion, where it almost borders on to research, where you're saying, hey, I think this. What do you think? Maybe there's a common ground. What are the common elements in our opinions that potentially can come together to form a more accurate truth? Because time and again, truth ends up usually being a little column A and a little column B. You know what I mean? Yeah. So the first thing that we've got here in regards to opinions is just talking to people. Talk to your family and friends. Have those conversations that you think are important. I wouldn't just sling it right out there. Hey, how you doing? Oh, I'm great. You don't believe in the climate change? Chill out. But feeling involved in those conversations can not only help you, but it can break through this mental blockage of I'm the only one that thinks this. I feel so alone. And if you don't have an abundance of other people who are ready to talk to you at all times, there are podcasts out there that are chock full of opinions and challenging those opinions. The top three ones that we found regarding educational and learning podcasts, we've got Revisionist History, Stuff You Should Know, and Climate Cast, because we're kind of touching on the climate change here in this episode quite a bit. But there are countless other podcasts out there that you can listen to, and instead of, maybe you work third shift and you don't have a lot of time to be able to talk to these people at length about these interesting conversations, but you want to take part, then you can listen and you can, react with that community or spread awareness about a podcast that you might be really into. Maybe that'll help you feel more involved in what's going on, what you're thinking and feeling.
Absolutely.
The blockage that comes from some of this confusion and anxiety from not knowing what to do, who to talk to, where to find all this stuff, how to get out of your own head, can be really difficult to do on your own. I mean that applies to the physical world as well. Having to build a house is really hard to do by yourself, but if you get people to help you out, it's going to go quicker. You're going to probably have a better house that was built. And the same thing pertains to the mental arena, where sometimes you might need help kind of getting out of your own head. And that would lead me to discuss therapy.
Absolutely.
No, I'm not saying, hey, you're having a creative blockage, you can't figure out what you want to do, you're kind of stuck on an opinion, go to therapy. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if you find yourself consistently stuck in your own head, unable to do the things that you want to do in life because of mental blockages, you might need to go and talk to somebody. A therapist is generally someone with a degree, who is a professional in listening and organizing thoughts.
Yeah.
Now, there are a wide variety of doctors, wide variety of therapists with different specializations.
Yes.
That's a hard one. And focuses. So, you got to kind of figure out where you want to figure out who you want to talk to. But it's, I think of therapy as sticking your hand into your pocket and you've got 4 different earbud headphones that were in the washing machine, and now they're all tangled up, and you can start tugging on them, and you can get frustrated, and you can throw it. But really, it's going to take a couple of intricate movements to start untangling all of these crossed wires to kind of get yourself through that mess, and then you can organize your headphones or your thoughts with the help of somebody who's done this before and has studied decades of research of like-minded issues that said, hey, over here, these 500 cases of the same thing you're going through, here's what helped. Let's try that. Even now, especially because of the pandemic, now that it's about halfway through 2021, telemedicine, teledoc, phone FaceTime with somebody, it's everywhere. It's the new hot thing is teletherapy. Even having one good session can do a lot to get you out of your own head, to get somebody else's perspective on the same information. And also continuing therapy can help you work through that. It depends on what you need. I would suggest if you start with a therapist, you might want to set out a plan of what you're trying to do, listen to their advice, and work through the issues, because you'll never know what you're going to find. But ultimately, I believe it's going to assist you in unblocking your own brain. Right. I think that there's been a lot of stigma, even just to our parents' generation. I believe our own parents should have probably gone to therapy for whatever. For, our father had a notoriously difficult childhood, and I think a therapist might have helped make a lot of sense out of some of that. And he worked past it, but there's a lot of damage done from that time. Of course. But that you didn't go to it. You didn't go to a shrink or a quack or, somebody to just talk to you about your thoughts. Okay, so going to therapy, continuing therapy, that's a good one. We've got one more bullet here, and this is kind of stuff that you can do on your own to break the cycle of this loop or this blockage in your head. And it's exercise, both physical and mental. So let's talk about physical exercise real quick. Okay, so it's not hard to imagine that physical exercise can be good for your mental well-being. It's a known fact that any form of aerobic exercise releases serotonin and endorphins that can lead to a feeling of well-being. According to healthfully.com, they discuss endorphins and neurotransmitters that are found in the pituitary gland and throughout the nervous system are the body's natural pain medication. It says why this happens is still unclear. Fair enough. So your exertion in the physical realm leads to a self-produced medicine in your body that makes you feel better. And if you're stuck in this mental blockage, getting yourself away from that, making yourself feel better, can get you through that, can maybe reset your thought process to an issue that you might be stuck on. And it'll certainly get you to stop thinking about whatever it is you're thinking about. Now, again, only a Sith deals in absolutes. You might go for a 7-mile run and still be stuck in that mental blockage. But somebody else might not be. That's how it goes. So physical exercise obviously helps, but I am more interested in mental exercise because when we were deployed in Afghanistan, 2010 to 2011, our captain came up with a fun game that would kind of keep us sharp. And I remember when we would play this game for hours and then something would happen, I would be so mentally ready to jump into action and to do whatever it is that we need to do. That I learned that these kinds of exercises benefit your brain because it's a muscle. Doing these thought exercises helps build the muscle that is your brain and increases, thought speed, I guess, is your quicker reaction times, clarity in thinking, and using your brain, you know, the more you run, the better you're going to be at using your legs. You know,
Yep.
the more you do these thought exercises, the better you're going to be at using your brain.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that game really quick because it's something that really helped us out in our life. For sure. So we both like movies, he and I, and we would mess around with actors and connecting them through different projects, particularly actors who have never been in a movie together that we know of. Obviously, we don't know every movie.
Right.
But so, for example, to my knowledge, Mel Gibson and Daniel Radcliffe, as of June 2021, have not done a movie together.
Right.
But you can connect them by one degree of separation. You do that with an actor. His name is Jason Isaacs.
Hey.
Mel Gibson was with Jason Isaacs in the movie The Patriot.
Yep.
And Jason Isaacs was obviously in Harry Potter with Daniel Radcliffe. So
Yeah.
you went from that to that with as little steps as possible. There's a lot of variations on this game. A lot of people know about the Bacon number. It's about Kevin Bacon, who was in so many movies that it's hard to kind of get a specific number away. Degrees of separation
Yeah.
from Kevin Bacon before you're getting closer to Kevin Bacon. It's a notorious thing. He knows about it. He's talked about it. You can even look it up on Google by searching, the Bacon number. But it was games like that, increasing in complexity, that helped keep us sharp, help us feel kind of there with it in the moment and stay unblocked because you're used to doing this specific sort of pattern in your brain and building up those neural pathways that it then applies to whatever the variable is that might be getting you stuck.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I hope that some or all of this has helped, or at least even pointed you in the right direction to potentially getting yourself unstuck, being and feeling prepared for the next time it might happen.
Yep.
If you find yourself in a loop of thought, potentially even keeping you in bed, if it's that bad, I would call a doctor, potentially talk about, ongoing therapy, but use some of these tools, try some stuff out, get out of your own comfort zone.
Yeah.
If you keep getting the same results, change your variables, so that, you can get a different result, which might inspire the actual result that you're trying to get to.
Yeah.
Anyway, we won't drag on. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here.
you.
Keep your ears open. We've got music coming out. Big special surprise is going to be coming out here shortly. I don't want to give you guys a date because I want to make sure that it's ready, but it's baking in the oven, so get ready. And thank you again for listening to both of us here at Two Guys, Same Person.